Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today, we'll be discussing how your teams can benefit from using AI-enhanced software to streamline evidence management, specifically witness and expert evidence in your litigation or arbitration. Before we begin, we'll start with some short introductions. I'm Ariane Tadion. I'm a qualified litigation solicitor. I worked in a mid-sized law firm and also have over 7 years combined experience in litigation knowledge management and litigation technology, both at Thomson Reuters and here at Opus 2, where I'm a subject matter expert. And I joined Opus 2 in January 2023. I'm joined today by my colleague Nadia. Nadia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, and hello everyone. I'm Nadia, and I'm a subject matter expert at Opus 2, same as Ariane. I work in private practice for about 8 years, specializing in litigation and arbitration. I worked at Cook Young & Keaton, a boutique litigation arbitration law firm in London, and joined Opus 2 3.5 years ago.
Thanks, Nadia. So for those of you who might be new to Opus 2, we've been providing cutting-edge technology and services to the world's leading litigation and arbitration teams for over 16 years. We're happy to be here today in what we hope will be an engaging discussion on this topic, giving you perspectives from both our own personal experience in private practice and also insights from our clients.
Before we dive in, just a couple of housekeeping points. The Q&A function is available throughout the webinar for any questions, so please go ahead and post any questions you might have. The recording of this webinar will be emailed to you and also posted on our website.
Thanks, Nadia. So as we jump in, we all know that a case can stand or fall on the strength of its evidence, be that factual or expert where relevant. Managing evidence on complex litigation or arbitration with multiple witnesses can be a pain, and honestly, it can be overwhelming. At least that's what I recall from my days in private practice. What about you, Nadia? What was your experience?
For me, I can only describe the process of gathering my witnesses and their evidence as herding cats. From gathering the documents and reviewing them to ascertaining the factual and legal issues to communicating with witnesses, both factual and expert, keeping track of communications and sharing information with them, organizing witness interviews, expert meetings, and dealing with the drafting of witness statements. It was all a very convoluted process.
It sounds like our experience was very similar then. So what we're going to be doing in the next 30 minutes or so is that we will cover how AI-enhanced technology can support evidence management by helping you to manage case issues and witness interview questions, collaborate with witnesses, both factual and expert, comply with specific procedural requirements, and we'll be talking a little bit about Practice Direction 57AC in the business and property courts, and also how to manage tasks and deadlines associated with evidence management. And of course, we'll leave some time at the end for questions.
Thank you, Ariane. So let's talk a little bit about each one of these points in turn. How we manage these tasks in practice without the support of a case management or case preparation system in what we can only describe as a manual world, and how teams can benefit from using the right technology to carry out these tasks in a secure and centralized way. Factual and legal issues form the fundamental building blocks of a case, and ascertaining them was a key process. My recollection, at least, was that it was difficult to keep track in a centralized manner the issues in dispute, which witnesses were tied to those issues and could give evidence, the documents I had that were relevant to the issues and the witnesses, the relevant notes, and any further information I needed in relation to those issues. All this information was scattered everywhere.
Yeah, that really does take me back. The lack of centralization was a real bugbear and made it very tricky to see the full picture, spending lots of time piecing this information together to prepare effectively. But with the support of a case management or case preparation platform, managing the case issues and being able to link them to underlying evidence and the stakeholders involved in the case becomes much easier. So let's see how some of our clients do this with Opus 2. Okay, so what you can see now is our Opus 2 cases platform. So just to give you a brief orientation, the main tools sit here on the top, and the key with these is that they are all linked. So as you're reviewing your documents and adding notes, you can be linking those to the issues, as well as chronology events and any characters, so parties and witnesses involved in your case. And also what we will see later is a couple of examples of some external portals. So portals can be used for clients or witnesses or experts, for instance. So if we jump into our issues, you can add an issue here directly. And what you can see here is an issue that I've already added. So if I click in, you can see, for example, that this information is all editable. I can track, for instance, the issue status, the progress status, what type of issue it is, whether or not it's factual or legal. Once I'm happy with that, I can just save it. I can filter this information. So for example, if I want to focus on issues that a specific witness has been involved in, I can filter out by character. What I can also do here is I can expand this information. So let's say, for example, I want to see how these issues relate to the source documents. I can do that, and then I can see the source documents that relate to the issue. If I click in again, I can see the sources also here, and then I can see which characters relate to this issue, any events, any notes on documents that are relevant, and also any witness questions that I want to associate with this issue that I want to ask of my witnesses.
Yeah, picking up on what you just shown there about witness questions, I would have found that so useful when I was in practice because it was such a headache maintaining different lists of questions for different witnesses and having to cross-refer to the underlying evidence and the chronology. All this information, as we mentioned before, was scattered everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. And this makes preparing for witness interviews much more streamlined, reducing the risk of missing any key facts and questions you want to ask of your witnesses. Those questions and answers can be logged and tracked in preparation for witness interviews or witness depositions, specifically in the US. So Nadia, do you want to run us through a bit more detail in terms of how technology can help our clients handle managing those witness interview questions?
Sure. Share the screen. Okay. So imagine you are working on the case issues that Ariane showed you earlier, and you are reviewing an issue. So here, issue 1, I'm reviewing it, and I wanted to ask a witness about a specific question around this issue. I can do it right here. So I just go into my witness question, and I can add the question that just came to my mind. So I can do it immediately from there. The same applies if you were reviewing a document. So say I was reviewing this agreement and I'm looking at this section and I think, oh, I need to add a question to ask my witness. I can add it there and then. So I can add the question here. And all that work gets populated in your witness questions. So they all get populated here. You can then amend these accordingly. You can add new questions that you need. You can filter through your questions. Say, I only now want to see the questions that are relevant to a specific witness, or I want to see all the questions that are relevant to a specific issue. I can filter through my issues and do what I need to do. Finally, for each question, you can see the underlying documents, any sections that were highlighted. You can see the relevant witnesses, you can see the relevant chronology event, and you can see the relevant issues around this question. And importantly, during the witness interview, when you get there, you can add their replies as well here.
That looks so helpful, Nadia, because everything is connected and all in one place. And that minimizes the need to jump between applications to piece this information together, which is what we were saying earlier, and allowing you to save time to focus on things that matter more.
Yes, exactly. And following the witness interview, using all those questions that you prepared, you can now benefit from AI when reviewing your witness interview notes in most jurisdictions, or in the US, your witness transcript.
Yeah, I agree. AI can be a big help when reviewing witness evidence. So if you had a formal witness interview transcript in the case of US litigation, or a witness interview transcript from a Teams recording or an interview note you've typed out in Word while interviewing your witness, which are the more likely scenarios in England and Wales, for instance, you can run AI analysis to help you prepare for follow-up questions or with the drafting of the witness statement. And we know from our clients that analyzing witness interview transcripts or notes using AI as a starting point is a big deal for them. So if we go back. So what you can see here now is some of our AI and how that can assist you with reviewing your witness interviews. So if I just jump into transcript analysis, let's say you wanted to check during your interview if there were any inconsistencies in what the witness was saying, you could use the inconsistent testimony function. So did the witness say anything that was inconsistent that you need to go back on and ask more questions about? Or you could say if the witness expressed any specific emotions during the interview, using our sentiment analysis function, you can consider how they might fare at trial. You can check this using sentiment analysis. Or do you want to check what else you need to ask the witness to find out more information? You can do this using lines of inquiry. As you saw just earlier, you can also summarize the transcript in different ways, which could be useful to make sense of. For example, if it's a particularly long transcript, you can have a general summary or a topical summary, which would analyze the transcript and categorize by topic with a summary for each topic, as you can see here. Or you could have, for instance, a Q&A summary where you can see what questions were asked and a summary of the answers that were given.
Thank you, Ariane. And on top of these examples you have just shown, AI can also be used to assist with the process in general. For instance, summarizing your documents, extracting key people and events, and also using AI query to ask questions on documents and getting the answer in seconds.
Yeah, definitely. AI's power can be harnessed at various stages of the litigation or arbitration lifecycle, and managing witness evidence is one of the big areas in which it can help. It goes without saying, and this is something that you and I have discussed, that we don't think that there is a place for AI to replace a lawyer, but it does make a lawyer's life easier and helps them to be more efficient. They can check the source references of the output, which you saw earlier, and to quickly cross-reference, allowing them to focus on more value-add tasks.
Yes, indeed. Now, once you have your transcript or interview note and you have reviewed it, you still need to deal with follow-up questions and follow-up interviews, and of course, the process of drafting the witness statement. And this inevitably includes collaborating with the witnesses. Collaborating with the witness includes both factual witnesses, but also expert witnesses. One of our clients, an international law firm, specifically told us that managing this is a huge pain for them, as it involves setting up numerous file sharing sites for each of the witnesses involved. It involves emails flying back and forth, and they need to get other teams involved, for example, their IT or admin teams, each time they need to do a small change or have a new file share site. Let me show you what our clients do with Opus 2 cases. So you have your internal engine. So here I'm in my documents page, and this is where you would be working on a daily basis, reviewing your documents, and you can prepare here the bundles that you want to share with your factual or expert witnesses. So here, for example, I have the documents I share with my expert witness. Here I have the documents that I want to share with my witness called Jack, and I can prepare everything here. You also have, for example, your tasks, where you can assign tasks to witnesses when they need to do something, and you can also say by when this needs to be done. Now, the witness themselves, at the same time, you have the secure portals that Ariane mentioned earlier, and this is where the witnesses can be invited, and you can choose here what you want to share with them. For example, the documents I just mentioned before, where you want to share documents with them, what the witness would be able to see in their witness bundles, so they can see documents provided. These are the documents that you've shared with them. Same with tasks. So they can go into the tasks and they would be able to see any tasks that you've assigned to them. Now I'm logged in as myself, so I only see the tasks that are assigned to me, but the witness would be able to view only the tasks that were assigned to them. And all these can be templated, so you can have it for all your cases. There's no need to create new ones each time. And importantly, there's no need to have multiple portals like file sharing sites for each witness. You just need to have one, and it works with access control rights. So each witness only sees what they are allowed to see. And importantly, you are in control of what they see. And the same applies to expert witness portals that Ariane will be showing you shortly. Again, working with access control rights, and you only need one. Additionally, now with the witness interview itself, it can also be a mess in terms of managing it, and at least that was my experience from private practice. So now let me show you how this can be handled in Opus 2 cases. So when you are interviewing your witness, they would be in their witness portal and in the witness bundle. You can refer them to the document that they want to see. For example, maybe you want them to see this Opus 4 document, so they can see here the document. It's the clean document, and you can refer them to the relevant section that you want to discuss with them. Now, on your side, at the same time, in your documents here, here you can see the document, and you can see that you have all your notes, the interview questions, any notes that you've made. You can keep on highlighting, you can keep on making notes, you can add their responses, and you can also add further notes for your purposes to look at later on. And if now, for whatever reason, you need to share a new document with them that comes up during the interview, then you can simply add that document in the bundle. So here you can see I have a new documents section in my Jack Witness folder, just because I want to make it clear that they're looking at the new document. And let's say I want to share with them during the interview this new document. So I just drop it in there. And on their side, the witness, let's just do a quick refresh. And on their side, they still see the documents here. And you can see that now the document appears in real time. And you can go ahead and discuss it.
Yes. Thanks, Nadia. You mentioned earlier the time spent on creating and managing file sharing sites across multiple witnesses. This also reminds me of time spent tracking what has or hasn't been shared with witnesses, as you just alluded to. This is even more important in litigation now in the business and property courts in England and Wales, for instance, to keep track of, because under Practice Direction 57 AC, you need to know and keep a record of which documents are provided to a witness for the purpose of providing evidence at trial, as well as when they were provided, and also which documents the witness looked at their own accord for the purpose of providing their evidence.
Yes, exactly. Our clients can manage this process of sharing documents with witnesses, including making sure they are compliant with Practice Direction 57 AC in England and Wales, easily with Opus 2 cases. Witnesses can securely access documents in the portal that I've shown you before, and lawyers on their side can efficiently track the documents seen by the witness in preparation of the witness statement. And importantly, they can instantly get a list of the documents that were shared with the witness, and they can in turn share that list with the court. So let me show you what our clients can do here. So I've shown you the witness bundle here. So instantaneously, I can see all the documents that were shared with my witness. So I can see that any documents, new documents that are shared with them, and I can see if the witness themselves saw some documents and they provided them to us, or they told us about it. So I've added them here, so I can readily see that these are the documents that the client used in preparation of the witness statement. At the same time, I can create an index. So I've already created this. So let me show it to you. So all I did was export a table of contents. I can choose which fields I want to include, for example, document date, whatever it is, and I can readily have a list that I can share with the court. Now, if we go back to the portals that we mentioned, this can be used for other stakeholders as well, for example, for the expert witnesses. So Ariane, do you want to talk us through that?
Yeah, sure. So you could have a portal, as we said, dedicated to an expert witness, where you can share things like their instructions and accompanying documents for them to review. They can review and download those documents. You might want to send documents at a later date. So you can date those folders to keep track of when you sent what to them. You can also share things like a version of the case chronology, for instance, for them to review in an easy to digest way. And then on the side of what the expert has to do, once they've prepared their report, they can share it with you, and you can set up a document notification so that you're notified when something is shared with you via the portal. So if we just take a look at that now. So what you can see here is an example of an expert witness portal. So if you want to share documents with them, as I mentioned, you can do that via the document repository. You can see here that we're sharing the instructions and the relevant documents. They can just click into these documents and download those. What you can also do is share, as I mentioned, a version of the case chronology. So you can see here that these are some events that we're sharing. And then finally, once the expert's report is ready, they can share the report with you. You can choose internally where that report which folder that report goes into. And as I said, with those document notifications, you'll be notified immediately once the expert has uploaded any documents for you to have a look at.
Thanks, Ariane. And throughout this process, we are, of course, managing and tracking a bunch of tasks and deadlines associated not only with managing the evidence, but the case more broadly. When I was working in private practice, we had our own individual task lists, and then weekly, if not daily, we had meetings to check in on the progress of a case as we're coming up towards an important deadline.
Yes, those check-ins were necessary, but I remember them being so time-consuming.
Yeah, indeed. And technology can assist with this as well. Our clients use Opus cases for the entire team to track their tasks and link them to procedural deadlines in the procedural timetable if necessary. You can also assign and share tasks externally in portals, as already mentioned, for example, with witnesses or experts, as we've shown you, like tasks that the witness has to do. So everyone is aligned. Now, let me show how this is done by our client. So here I'm in my tasks tool. So I'm in task 1. I can add a due date. I can add who needs to do this task. I can have a status, whether it's pending or completed. And of course, I have what the task involves. And I can amend this. I can add tasks ad hoc. I can add reminders. So I can be reminded on the due date. I can also add a 1-week reminder, 2 weeks reminder, and then can receive in an email that this is pending. And in my tasks, I can manage these quite easily. I can filter and say, okay, only show me the tasks that are assigned to me only, or just show me the tasks that are still pending, and I can work through my tasks. And you can use a dashboard. For example, here you have the witness dashboard. So in meetings, maybe now I'm interviewing my witness, Jack, so I can see the documents that have been shared with him. I can see the tasks that they need to do, and I can see all the team tasks that are pending. So I can readily update the team during those meetings, and they can be more efficient. I can also have an expert dashboard where I can see the documents that I received from the expert quite very quickly. And I can preview them here. I can see the key dates, and I can also see any tasks that are pending to them. One thing I forgot to mention, we mentioned procedural timetable. So all my tasks, if they need to be linked to something in the procedural timetable, that's again very easy to be done. So this is, for example, a draft report that needs to be provided, and it's basically relevant to the expert report deadline. So I have the two links so I don't miss anything that is happening. Now, in terms of what we concentrated today was all about witnesses, witness evidence, and not general task management, but this can also be used to track and make sure you manage your tasks in general in the case.
Thanks, Nadia. So as we're almost at time, I think it's worth just wrapping up by going back to the agenda that we showed at the beginning. So what we've looked at today was managing the case issues. We also looked at collaborating with witnesses, both factual and expert, via those portals, complying with the specific procedural requirements under Practice Direction 57AC. And Nadia just showed you at the end managing those tasks and deadlines associated with evidence management.
Yeah, and evidence management is just one use case for which Opus 2 cases can be leveraged to support the preparation of your case strategy for litigation or arbitration. We have a suite of features in Opus 2 cases that our clients are using. We've only touched on some today, but we do not have, unfortunately, time to go through everything else today. Before we close, we do have some time to squeeze in a couple of quick questions. So let me see. One attendee asked, you discussed using AI. Can the AI tool be used to help with the drafting of the witness statement? Ariane, do you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. That is a great question, actually. So yes, you could use AI. You could use our query tool in AI to draft something for you on the basis of an interview note or interview transcript, and take it from there. The witness statement, at least in England and Wales, must of course be in the witness's own words. So we do advise that this is used with care, but in principle, it can help you as a kind of starting off point. Yes.
Thank you, Ariane. So another question, it says here, you mentioned sharing documents with witnesses in a portal, but sometimes we need to share these in hard copy or via email. Can this be done? So yeah, very good question. I remember we always had some witnesses where they wanted the bundle in hard copy or just simply wanted it in an email. So yes, you can of course export all the documents shared in a portal using our bundling tool, and you can either export this in a single PDF or a zip file, so it's up to you. And you can also include a hyperlink index if needed, or if this is something that helps. The Opus 2 cases bundling tool is there to assist with any bundling requirements that may arise. So anything that is needed, the structure, the folder structure, the numbering, all that can be achieved via our bundling tool.
Thanks, Nadia. And it looks like we do have a couple of more questions, but unfortunately we're out of time, so we will respond to those individually. If anyone has any further questions that they haven't asked today, please do feel free to reach out to us using our contact form on our website, the details of which you can see now. And just finally, we thought we would wrap up with a couple of key takeaways. So to optimize your case strategy and analysis, we feel that it's important to work collaboratively in a central space where you and your colleagues can review the evidence in the round. And AI could certainly help save time in supporting you with this to drive better outcomes for your clients. So with that, thank you so much for joining us for this session. We hope it was useful, and please do keep a lookout for further webinars that we'll be hosting later on this year. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.